Joining us now for more on John Madden's career is New York Times NFL writer Ken Belson. Ken, thanks for joining us this morning. We heard in the piece Madden coached the Raiders at a very young age because his playing career was cut so short. Why do you think he was so successful as a coach, even though he was so young?
Well, I think he kind of defined his era. Unlike Vince Lombardi, who was a more dictatorial type, Madden was actually fit the 1960s, early 70s era where he gave players a lot of freedom to express themselves, but at the same time treated them like adults and expected excellence from them. So he was kind of a pivotal figure in the coaching world in their approach to how players were treated.
Fans will remember Madden on Sundays calling games with fellow legendary broadcasters Pat Summerall, later Al Michaels. Tell us about that transition he made to television. I mean, was that a pretty natural transition for him? How did he make that?
Well, it turned out to be. It wasn't something he set out to do, but when he had a tryout with Bob Costas in Los Angeles to see if it would work, it was immediately clicked. He was a natural teacher. He was a great explainer. He had great enthusiasm, and he understood the game. He wasn't faking it. He knew how the offenses worked, how defenses worked, and he just wanted to convey that to people, and it came across really naturally. So he fit into it without realizing it initially. And of course, he made a 30-year career out of it.
It's interesting looking back how there are just these distinctive chapters to his career. There was the coaching era, then the broadcasting era, but there's a generation of fans who really know him mostly, perhaps totally, as the face of the iconic NFL video game franchise, John Madden Football. What do you make of how someone as old school as Madden became this sort of video game entrepreneur?
Well, he was an entrepreneur at heart, and I think what makes the game great and Madden's contribution to it was he was a stickler for details. He could have had a video game sort of become just off the shelf, but every single year he wanted to improve the game, and he would bring software developers from EA to his home in California and literally go over how to improve the game. Now, he didn't understand the software necessarily, but he would try and get them to make the game more realistic. So, for instance, the offensive line, well, they don't score any points in these video games, but he wanted them to move just like offensive linemen do in real games. It didn't necessarily enhance the game other than aesthetics and make it more realistic. And software engineers who didn't necessarily know football had to translate his vision for the game into X's and O's. And that really was the hallmark of it. It's precision and it's realism.
Ken, love all the details you've given us about his life. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.